So it's another beautiful day in the Warframe neighborhood, and to be 100% sure and 100% accurate about this game, this is one of the most awesome, or probably the most awesome free-to-play game. Simply because it has options, it has speed, it has flexibility, it has detail, it has proportion, it has awesome boss battles. Not to the level of certain enemies being like completely boss, like Elden Ring boss level, but it has awesome boss fights. It have awesome modes. It's an all-around good game. I wouldn't even consider this game to be like in the low 8 range. I say this is the low 9 range. I'll say this is 9.1. If they had awesome boss battles, like extremely awesome boss battles in this game, this will be in the high 9s category. Now if they had also a great campaign, it will also be in the high 9s category. So to be 100% honest, I believe Warframe falls into the 8.9 category to the low 9 category. So you got anywhere from 8.7 to low 9 category. And that's where Warframe will fall under. And it's hard to say Warframe is a rank game with all the content in. It's just that there are certain things off about the game. One, it doesn't have connections towards all the story, and two, there's no like real boss to the level that's incredibly epic that makes you feel like you want to continue to press on, like in Monster Hunter World, that you have epic like monster fights and stuff like that. So that's the one thing about the game. Plus the story is kind of like chopped up and placed all over the place, kind of like how Elden Ring is. So I believe this game falls into the high 8th category, low 9s category. I say this game is a full 9 to me. If it wasn't for the story and the bosses needed to be greater, this would be in the high 9s category. So I believe this falls into like the low 8s, fall into like the high 8s, low 9s category. So with that said, why I believe this is also an A rank game, or high B territory, but in all truth, it really is an A rank game. It really is. If you consider what's all inside of the game itself, it's very, very much in the low 9s. I don't think it'll get anywhere past 9.1 simply because it has a lot of factors it needs to consider, but it's very much in the low 9s. However, it's still an A game in my mind, simply because one, the people are still working hard on it and still creating new content for it. Two, everything is done exceptionally well in this game. If it's in the game, it's done exceptionally well. From its menu screen that you see right here, for something simple as dailies. These are the dailies. The dailies are done well. The rollover for the dailies are done well. The text that's used for the actual content themselves are done well. It's not like Elden Ring, you can hardly see anything. Everything, you can see everything. The color used for the design is done well. The description of what each the pop-ups for each when you roll over is done well, so you know that you're rolling over it. Everything is done well. The animation for the character is done well. The movement animation, the lighting is done well. Everything in this game is done well. When you access and press certain buttons to see what your actually rewards are, you could scroll down. So the scrolling is not to the level of ridiculousness that you're scrolling forever. It's enough that you could go up and go down and don't have to worry about it. Now when it becomes to a ridiculous nature, you have to go up and down. That's where the horizontal ones comes in, the L1 and R1, to eliminate that factor. Otherwise, if everything was in the all category, going all the way up and all the way down, you'd be scrolling up to forever. That's why they created split factions towards, or split windows towards this game. So you have R1, R1, keep moving R1, and you have different type of windows, and then you have the all to show them all, and then you have the different ones to show them individually, so you don't have to waste time that way. That's another thing good about this game that a lot of games don't have. You also have a lot of incredible details and many other factors, but today is not really about going to details of many other factors. Today is going into That's me doing Nightwave stuff, me doing Steel Pass stuff, and just showcasing this game to those who have never played the game, to be completely honest with you, and want to know something about this game, because this game is like truly an awesome game. And though a lot of people spend a lot of time on other games, those other games will demand money out of you in order for them to consistently do what they have to do. Yeah, I had to blow my nose there. But yeah, this game, however, does ask for money from its fan base, but it doesn't do it to the level that you have to give them anything if they ask you for it. That's why it's free to play. They don't make the game mode completely obnoxious to the level of you don't want to play it some more because it's so hard that you need to have perks and you need to unlock this in order to get this, so you could move forward and then do this, because it'll be difficult in order to do this if you don't buy this. It's not that type of game. There's stuff that you could purchase from the market are simply there, so to add as something that you want to add to make your transition through the game smoother. And the best part about it is once you purchase this thing through the game, or any of these things through the game, they're all called platinums. And platinums are currencies that you could trade inside the game itself. It's not something that's coming out of your pockets like real money. It's a currency inside the game, and you make that currency by trading for stuff to acquire that currency in the game. Like if you decide to trade a cat or a dog, or you decide to trade a weapon to someone. If you decide to trade a weapon, not one of these weapons, but a prime version of these weapons to someone, if you have the full set, you would acquire the amount of platinum that full weapon cost, or you acquire half the money that weapon costs, depending on how much you're willing to charge for that weapon. And thus you will acquire the platinum, so you could use that platinum you acquired from selling the set that you have farmed inside of the game to purchase other weapons. Once you acquire enough flat to purchase the weapons you want, so you farm to get specific weapons that you want, and once you get a full set, you sell such weapons, so you could acquire platinum to get the weapon you want, or the warframe you want, or the set you want, or the companion you want, or the equipment right here. Like if this game has boosters, which in other games they're basically called progression points. Well, not progression points, but progression escalation rewards, or progression escalation boons. And those progression escalation boons allow you to epically progress forward into the game as you play, so you can level up things, so you can level up weapons, so you can acquire certain resources more, so you could do more. And in order to do these things, you also need plats. But like I said before, if you sell a set and you acquire the amount of plats in order to do this, you could buy this easy, because you could purchase those items once you acquire plats from a trade of whatever set that you farmed inside of the game. So acquiring 40 plats will be nothing. So that's something very simple. For instance, I've farmed yesterday. I farmed just for about 30 minutes. I went into a mission and I farmed 2 additional parts to a set, and that was the Burston Prime. I was missing 2 parts, and I decided to farm the remaining parts. Those didn't take me long at all. Got them pretty easy. So now I have a full set. If someone doesn't have this weapon and I go into trading, and chat trading is here, and chat trading is represented by these symbols right here, you then see the different prices: 250 plus 200, and they have one to sell, and then they have one to buy, WTW, one to buy, WTS, one to sell, and then they have the different type of item that they're selling. This person is selling Banshee, so once you press on the item, it will show you the type of Warframe it is, who is Banshee, and what she does, what her shield is, and you decide to message this person, and you could click on the person's name. Once you click on name and you click talk, and you could decide to talk to this person, and then you text within you could say something like that, but once you send it, that person will hear that message, and that's it. But beyond that, that's all there is. That's how you farm for plats. And you would think that maybe you would have to purchase money from real money from outside, which you can if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. No, everything you could farm within doing certain missions in this game, and that's doing missions on different planets. And there are several different planets within the solar system, everything within our solar system, and each of these planets represents certain locations that factions are on. And once you do certain mission on each of these planets, you're rewarded with certain items. Sometimes you're rewarded with weapons, sometimes you're rewarded with Warframe parts, sometimes you're rewarded with other things as well. But regardless, you're rewarded for your efforts within how long you stay in a mission, or what the actual item that you're going to receive from the weapon will be. And then you then go into trade, and then say in the trade want to sell, and you have the whole set. If someone messages you, great. If someone doesn't, it means you have to farm lots more different sets, and it's up to you how many hours or how many minutes you want to spend to farm a set. You could just farm like 3 sets in one day and spend like 2 hours just do farming for sets, and then the following day you do another 2-hour farming for sets, and that would be your daily routine, and then you go off to do your missions or whatever. Or you could just dedicate 1 hour for farming a set per day, and then you do your selling after by the end of the day to see if anyone purchases it. So it really is up to you how you want to do certain things in this game, but at no point did you have to actually pay to progress in this game. You could progress at your own leisure in this game. There's nothing that says you have to reach towards the end fast in this game, because this game has kind of a balanced progression system where you can level up fast, but level up fast based on how determined you are, or you could level up steadily. There is no slow leveling in this game. That's what I like about this game. When you think you're moving slow and leveling, there is no slow leveling. The leveling in this game is decent. It's not slow, but it's not really fast, but it's not actually medium. It's somewhere between slow and medium. It's more medium than it is slow. So when you feel like you're not progressing, you actually are progressing a lot in this game, and that's the thing I like about this game. The progression system is medium rather than slow. It's not fast, because if it was fast, everyone would reach towards the end of the game real quick. But so the progression system in this game is very good. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do my daily for the Steel Path, and this is one of the more brutal part of the game. It's very brutal. Steel Path is like exactly what it means. Steel Path, the path of steel, to show how strong you are, how determined you are, how you're willing to push forward. And these missions really test your mettle more than everything. And if you bring the type of Warframe I have on, Necros, who is specifically designed to farm resources, you could require, or I wouldn't say require, more like attained or acquire, use the wrong word there, acquire, not required, extra resources dropped from enemies, because that's what this Warframe does. It farms extra resources. So I'll cut the chatter. Just wanted to give a slight little intro to what Warframe is. So another thing about this game that a lot of people don't seem to understand is, even though the concept of the game is quite simple, the execution of how to do certain things within the game isn't simple. For instance, in Steel Path, I could be blocking and then I could be shooting an enemy, knocking them off. And unless you're aiming directly at the enemy, you'll miss the enemy all the time. So you have to set up your weapons to have a certain amount of yield and fallout. If you have too much fallout, we will always miss the enemy. So you have to understand certain things with regards to the game. That's why this game is excellent when it comes to certain builds, because unless you don't know how to do the builds, then you'll always be having trouble. So it's far more complicated than the builds of other games. Like say in this game, the builds are far more complicated than anything that you will ever find in Elden Ring, like beyond complicated, because there's so many different mods and so many different enemies, and how you have to build certain things, not just the weapons but the armor types, and not just the armor types but the focus tree that gives the boons towards the weapons and the warframe. And you also have to consider the type of elemental damage, the type of enemy you're going to be fighting in, what they're weak to, so on and so forth. And there's also the fact of the speed with regards to the weapon that you're going to be using, and how the Warframe synergize with regards to the speed as well. So speed in this game is a factor, armor in this game is a factor, modding in this game is a factor, knowing your enemy strength is a factor, understanding the component structure of how to use certain things within this game as a structure. Understand the stat types of the game is also a factor. Understand the boon types is also a factor. Understand the focus tree is also a factor. And understand how you need to execute certain things all at once in a cohesion and synergy is also something you need to factor in. Because if you're just going to be playing and fighting an enemy and not understanding how elements synergize with each other, it's basically you just trying to struggle to beat an enemy rather than use your boons. In this game, it isn't called boons, it's called focus synergy, or it's just synergy itself. And the synergy comes from your focus tree, and within the type of warframe that you're using, that will synergize with certain abilities from your focus tree, which warframes work best with the focus tree synergy. So there's a lot of things to be considered. There's also how you're going to be used, field of depth, what type of weapons you're going to use, whether it's projectile weapons or whether it's hit scan weapons. So there are tons of factors to consider. If you're going to use specific type of weapons, what type works best, what type synergize, what type have elemental build-ups, what types have fall off, what types have hit scan, what types have range, and what types have a yield capacity as well. So even like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, there was still a lot going on in this game. So that's something also to be considered. And this is a great game to like lay back, drink a cup of coffee, or take some alcohol, or eat pizza with the friends and play it on screen while you're chatting about I don't know, chatting about watching Doctor Strange movie. You know, you could literally be playing this game, playing this game, and then talking to your friends about the latest movie or latest ball game you saw. And even though you would go down, you would die in combat because you're spending too much time talking to your girlfriend or whoever on the side, it's not the type of game that the consequence is so dire that you have to focus specifically at every single turn. The game offers you at least 4 lives, and if you expend those 4 lives, then that means that you're a screw up, because you're not paying attention at all. So originally they had the synergy being just something isolated towards a Warframe and operator. Now the synergy is both Warframe and operator now. So they're both codependent on each other. And that's even more so within how the operating system between Warframe and operator works. You can now do combos on enemies with both operators and Warframe combined. For instance, that just there, that's I mean, I'm not sure that's the official name to call it, but that's what the name I'm calling it. It's like a blitz attack. So you go in for the full void dash ability, and then the moment you get out of the void dash ability, you go straight into your Warframe melee attack. So that's a follow-up combo between both the Warframe and the operator, both at once. I like to call blitz attack. That's not the real name for it. That's what I call it. So that's good synergy. Now that synergy is probably the best thing that I've seen in this game for the past year. Like, it's so instantaneous and so fast the moment you go into operated and then you void dash and then you press 0. It's like instantaneous. Like you weren't even in operator mode. You just go into Warframe like almost instantly. It's like you weren't even in operator mode. It's so fast. No, I'm not working with them. I'm just doing this for a YouTube video to explain what Warframe is and how it's evolved since it used to be in the past. Because a lot of people believe it hasn't really evolved. But the fact that the synergy system is what's in place now, it shows the evolution of how things used to be stationary per Warframe, and then they moved from Warframe to operator, but it was still stationary for individuals. Now there's something called synergy, and the synergy is both cohesion between both Warframe and operator. It's as if they're both one person, one side of the mirror and the other side, the other mirror. So that's a nice evolution right there for those who believe this game hasn't evolved. So it's like having two personalities in one body. Those personalities didn't exist before, but now you get to use both sides of the personality in combat. Yeah, it's very good, very good.